You have to admire how pleasantly lightweight this door is. Rolls-Royce carpets. Ta-da! Ta-da! Make it dimmer and you can off it. It's like a Nissan Qashqai plus a Renault Espace. Hello everyone! Over here is the Nissan Ariya, guys. Now this has been Nissan's response to the growing environmental initiatives taken here in the EU market, but also initiatives for electric crossover SUVs, guys. So Ford did it with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. The Germans have caught up really fast with it. In fact, the Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and including the entire Volkswagen group, they have released countless amounts of crossover SUVs that are electric. But this over here is Nissan's response to the growing competition, guys. And I think Nissan has actually done one of the most attractive of electric cars compared to other Japanese competitors. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like out of all the Japanese competitors, Nissan always has the most attractive of designs. They always have the best of designs. They always have something interesting, something that's desirable, and that applies to many of their cars. And this Nissan Ariya is no exception, guys. From the first looks, I'm in love with it. Like, I just love the way it's designed. But one thing that we can establish is that the most popular Nissan models are the Qashqai, the Micra, and then also the Juke. Now, let's see if the Ariya has whatever it takes to be the next popular Nissan model. Let's get on with this review right now. Before getting down with this review, I have to let you all know that this is not the first ever electric car released by the Nissan-Renault alliance. Before the Nissan Ariya existed, we had the Renault Zoe, which was another electric car. In fact, I believe, please excuse me if I'm wrong, but I'm under the impression that Renault Zoe was released here in the EU market before Tesla even came to popularity. Because Tesla rose to fame here in the EU market back in 2015 or 2016, around that time. Whereas the Renault Zoe was out here before, like even in the early 2010s. I have to check it out, guys. Please excuse me if I'm wrong, but this, I can confirm this is not the first ever electric vehicle released by Nissan and Renault. So what we can establish is that this is not simply just a birth of something new. Nissan and Renault are accelerating their initiatives in electric cars. Here is the exterior design of the Nissan Ariya, everyone. First of all, I have to compliment the front. The front looks absolutely stunning, guys. I'm very, very impressed. So let's take a look at this design. This design has become a typical Nissan identity. In fact, I've spotted this on the Juke, the Qashqai, and then also the Nissan, well, I haven't seen this on the Micra yet, but my Nissan Navara also has a similar lighting like this, guys, in this shape. But it's got the opposite thing going on, because with this shape, it has the headlights right here. But with the case of the Ariya and other Nissan models of today, Nissan likes to put the headlights above. Over here is the Nissan badge, everyone, and as you can see, it's illuminated. It can illuminate, so it's very interesting what's going on with the badge, guys. The Nissan has done a lot of developments for the front. Now, as for the front like this, I'm under the impression this is not the first time Nissan has done such a fancy front. In fact, I recall that Nissan has a reputation for fancy designs, and they've been doing this since quite a long time. Even in the 2000s, they had this reputation. So yes, it's quite interesting, because whenever I look at it from this angle, it reminds me of something Nissan and Renault used to do. And I'm thinking it's between the two. Who did this? Who did this? And now let's cover the side view, everyone. So this is the side view of the Nissan Ariya. Looks quite common to what I've seen of other electric crossover SUVs. But first of all, I'd like to cover the wheel. I love the design of the wheel. It looks very good. But one thing you have to acknowledge is that the black part of the wheel is steel, whereas the gray part is actually the hubcap. And I like the color theme of the Nissan Ariya, guys. So over here you have the body paint, and then you get the piano black trim. Very, very good. I am absolutely impressed. Looks very desirable from every angle, and the roof is also black. Very nice, guys. And the wing mirrors are also black. So I assume it's part of a package, depending on what you choose. I think it's optional. Please excuse me if I'm wrong. But this is the side view, guys. And I love the rear design as well. Like, look at this. The rear design. But there's something new I've noticed about this particular Nissan Ariya that sets it apart from other Nissan models I've seen before. What sets it apart is that they have a sharp edge right here. And usually Nissan likes to play it round-edged, so it surprises me a little bit. This is a unique identity for the Ariya in particular, because I've seen the Nissan Juke, the Qashqai, and other Nissan models. They never have an elevation. Well, they have an elevation, but it's all round-edged. So Nissan likes to. It seems like for the Ariya, Nissan played it as sharp right here. Quite nice, quite unique in its ways, guys. Parking camera at the front, guys. Very nice. Front parking sensors. So judging by the front parking camera, it directly implies that you get a 360-degree parking camera. Very nice. Very good, guys. And I like how everything is occupied. I've noticed that the German competitors love penalizing you with the options. So if you pick less options, it becomes visual. But with this Nissan Ariya, has made no attempts to hide anything. They actually occupied every space. No plastic anywhere. It's all black paint or the body paint. The exterior design of the Nissan Ariya was absolutely stunning and very promising, guys. Big step ahead for Nissan. But I also noticed some questionable aspects. And the first questionable aspect I'd like to remark, guys, is that usually most brands like to make references to ancient flagship models, okay, or flagship models that used to exist or that still do exist. First thing that comes to my mind is the Nissan GT-R and the Nissan Patrol, because to me it seems like Nissan made no attempts to refer to the Patrol or to the GT-R. Explore the interior of this Nissan Ariya, but before doing so, I just want to remark something about the door. Nissan is not a premium manufacturer, guys. So I was not really expecting anything, any sound of something being well built or anything like that. Although I do have expectations, but hey, like for example, whenever I open or close the door, it sounds like it has something in common with what I've seen of the Qashqai. Check this out. So the sound and the way it, just the quality of the open and close is very similar to that of the Qashqai. In fact, it behaves almost like the Qashqai, I'd say. And then also the way the door feels, it reminds me of my Nissan Navara, like the size of the door handle. It's very similar to the Nissan Navara. Okay, now when it comes to the weight of the door, so here, let me just... The weight of the door seems also very similar to the other Nissan models I've seen before, but something about this particular design also reminds me of my Navara. It's a very interesting observation right here. So it's got something in common in terms of quality with other Nissan models. You have to admire how pleasantly lightweight this door is. Like, look at this. Because most car manufacturers of today have bulky doors, especially the German competitors. They are proud of their large doors. Over here is the interior of your Nissan Ariya, everyone. Very, very nice. So overall, you get to this semi-leather seat. So over here, it's leather on top, and then you get this fabric in the middle. And you get electric seating adjustments with lumbar support. Very nice, guys. Fully electric. How wonderful. And then over here, nice window controls, but we'll cover that later, although I love the presentation already. But before doing so, I want to cover something that I've never, ever seen in a mass market brand. Rolls-Royce carpets. The only brand that has ever offered squidgy carpets was Rolls-Royce, from my observation. Please excuse me if I'm wrong. But Nissan has offered you squidgy carpets. Literally. The only time I've ever seen those carpets are usually in, well, at home, but it's so nice. These carpets should be, the fabric used on this carpet should be on the seat. Why is it on the floor? It seems like you can basically drive this Nissan Ariya barefooted. This is how cozy it is, guys. This is also another surprise. You get front electric seating adjustment for the passenger seat. Now, this is one of the best things I've ever seen, guys. So over here is the interior of the Nissan Ariya, everyone. I have to say, I'm very impressed. First of all, let me compliment the door. So I open it. It feels very solid. It feels very well built, guys. I mean, I just love the sound of it. Here, the interior of the Nissan Ariya, you get a two-spoke steering wheel, guys. Very nice presentation. And I love the details. First of all, I have to compliment the steering wheel. It looks premium. It really does. And I like the presentation. So nice visual stitching right here. And the stitches are the same color as the body paint of the car, actually. Like, look at this. Nice stitching. And I like how you get this bit of aluminum. Well, I think it's aluminum. I'm not sure, guys. But nice trim. And then just around the handle area, you get this sort of handle. Very nice. Very good. I believe the steering wheel is heated. I'm not sure, but whenever I see this sort of material, first thing that comes to my mind is heated steering wheel. And equally, this would mean that the seats are likely to be heated or ventilated as well. Please excuse me if I'm wrong. But what is undeniable is the presentation. Like, first of all, I like how nothing is pretentious. Everything is nice. So piano black with the controls, and then at the center you get this presentation. I believe the Nissan lighting, no, it doesn't illuminate. Okay, it's not like the exterior Nissan badge. Infotainment system, digital instrument cluster, guys. Very nice, very good. And then you get your additional controls right here. So these are supposed to be your climate controls. They illuminate when the car is in action, guys. And here you have your start stop button. No, guys, it's got nothing to do with your computer, although look at this. This is so cute. Over here you get your handbrake, guys. Very nice. Now I want you all to look carefully at the window. Do you notice a bit of strings right here? Like, just those there's those little thin strings onto the window. This is to heat up the window in the winter, guys, to defrost the ice. How amazing is that? And I noticed this feature on various competitors in the automotive industry. This has to be one of the best features because it saves you the time and stress of scraping off the ice on the windows. Hey, look everyone, you get panoramic sunroof. I love it, guys. I mean, look at this. It's so nice. Panoramic sunroof, very pleasant. And then over here you get some additional lighting. Oh, look at the presentation of the lighting controls. Very nice. And then you get this sort of rear view mirror. Here is your transmission, guys. So I assume this is for your parking. So this is to engage the parking gear. And then to change it, you just have to push this button and change the transmission according to your need. I like the presentation of this transmission, by the way. It looks very nice. It reminds me of what I've seen of the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf also had something similar like this. Nissan always has basic automatic transmission for their hybrid cars and electric as well. Let's just compliment the trim of this interior, guys. Oh, by the way, before we get to the trim, look at this. This is all part of the infotainment system. Now, over to the trim. So over here, this is your air vents, guys, and accompanying it, you get this copper trim. It looks like the same color I've seen of the exterior. Very nice copper trim. It extends all the way there. And then rest of the interior is in black. Surprisingly, there's not a single sign of piano black anywhere. The only place that has piano black is the window controls right here, and the transmission control, and the start-stop buttons. So yeah, and then over here on the steering wheel. Otherwise, there's no piano black anywhere else to be seen. Otherwise, you do get this trim that looks like an imitation of wood, but it is not wood. It's like plastic, but it has the looks of wood. Look at this. It has the looks of wood. Very interesting how Nissan has gone about it. So, you know, a black theme, or actually black or grayish theme. Now over here are the window and mirror controls. I love the presentation of them. Yes, it's all piano black, but at least it feels very premium. It looks very desirable, and especially for a crossover SUV from a mass market brand like Nissan, very top notch. I love it. And then I love the presentation of this area. Squidgy leather door, armrest. Very nice. I'm impressed. Sound enthusiasts, you guys get a Bose system for the interior. Now, practicality is where everything gets very interesting. So, usually most electric cars suffer from one questionable aspect, and that is practicality. None of them are perfect. So I'm assuming, so let's just see if this Nissan Ariya is an exception or not. So you get some additional storage space down there. It's very narrow. USB points and a 12-volt socket over there. Yeah, it's not very reachable, but hey, when you're idle, you can reach it. And then over here, you get two cup holders that can be adjustable, I believe. Yeah, they can be adjustable. But they're very practical, guys, and I like the presentation right here. And if you don't need it, you get this wonderful shutter. Very nice. And then over here is your center console. What? So over here is your central console storage, which doesn't actually have any storage space except for your wireless recharge for your telephone. Okay, and then micro storage space. So basically, Nissan has dedicated this beautiful central console-like design, all just for a wireless recharge. In my opinion, that's a little bit alarming. Over here is your door bin, everyone. I'm pretty certain it can't fit a big water bottle because, yes, the width is there, but the length, guys, this the window control obstructs the way. And the door bin is not very long. Like I was expecting it to be until there, but it's a bit short. There's a very big surprise right here, and this is something very interesting, and it actually brought me to a lot of memories, and I'm going to tell you all why. You see those two gorgeous buttons right there? Yes, extra practicality solutions. Now over here the storage space is actually pleasant, very deep, and I love the material it's lined with. And this glove box is deep, one of the best glove boxes I've ever seen for an electric car. So storage over here is very good actually. Like I think that's to compensate for the loss of storage in the middle and everything. Now the reason why I said earlier that this actually was a big shock to me is because Renault used to do this with the Renault Espace, the generation before the current generation, guys. So I think it was the third generation Renault Espace, the sharp-edged one. The Renault Espace had fancy storage spaces all over the interior, and now seeing this kind of reminded me of Renault, and now it's leading me to believe that Renault must have been involved some way or another. Maybe I'm wrong, please excuse me, guys, but it really does remind me of the Renault Espace to some extent. In fact, if you study the interior very carefully, you will see some similarity with the Renault Espace, because the Renault Espace, the third generation, had a sharp-edged interior like this, especially. Let me remind you all that the third generation Renault Espace was also developed during the time when the Nissan-Renault alliance was in action. The Nissan-Renault alliance started in the late 90s, so you know, from that point, anything that was Renault was partly a Nissan as well, and anything that was a Nissan was also partly a Renault. But for some reason, Nissan has decided that it would be pleasant to have a gap here. I don't know what is it about the Japanese competitors, but they have an obsession for gaps in between the driver's seats and the passenger seats. And I've noticed this also with the Honda E. Exploring the interior of this Nissan Ariya, I also noticed some questionable aspects, guys. The first questionable aspect I'd like to point out is the practicality solution, like every other electric car. This whole thing was dedicated to a phone recharge. It surprised me. It's a bit alarming. I mean, it was a bit unnecessary in my opinion. And then also another thing is that you get this space, which is, in my opinion, not necessary. I think Nissan should have gone a bit more premium about it. They should have turned this into a storage space, a colossal storage, a big storage space, guys. Because why do you need this space, guys? I mean, are you really going to move to the passenger seat through the interior? It's not a good idea in my opinion. Otherwise, the center storage space right here was very pleasant. And then as for the rest of the interior, Nissan has chosen not to do much about it. Like, for instance, this could have been used as an extra storage space, you know? Like, this thing could have opened, like in the Renault Espace, it used to open. But Nissan has decided it's not necessary. Nothing smart happening elsewhere in the interior, guys. It feels a bit empty. Like, for example, in this area, there's a lot of potentials. Like, maybe a drawer could have opened over here. Or perhaps there could be an extra space underneath. Now, earlier I complimented the steering wheel, guys. The presentation of the steering wheel is very good. It's premium, but just the only thing is the feel. It looks good, but it doesn't really feel interesting. It seems like Nissan has played it too sporty. It's too firm. The leather is not squidgy. Now over to the rear seat of the Nissan Ariya, everyone. Woo! Guys, the rear seat is so good. Headrest is firm. It's a bit firm. Otherwise, I have a lot of headroom. Yeah, headroom is average for a crossover of this size and segment. Otherwise, my back feels good. Like, I feel like the seat is on the cozy side. It's not firm. Knee room is very good. It's almost unlimited. But my leg room all depends on the seating adjustment of the driver's seat and the front passenger. Otherwise, leg room, I'd say, is good nonetheless. Looks quite premium over here, guys. I love the presentation, I have to say. And I like the presentation of this area. First of all, you get rear seat pockets on both rear seats. Very good. USB points right here. Air vents right here. No climate control, though. And no storage solution over here. And you get a little door bin right here. Now, the door bin for the back seat, it doesn't surprise me. It's average for its crossover SUV segment. This time, this beacon of hope has something special about it. And look at this, guys. Just do this. Ta-da! Ta-da! Make it dimmer, and you can off it. This is so nice, guys. This has to be one of the best things I've ever seen. So nice, very desirable. I love it, guys. Look at this. This is to make it bright. This is to make it dimmer. And this is to off it. It's so pleasant, guys. I've never seen this before. Also get VIP armrests with no straps to them, so I have to basically pull it down like this. Are you serious? Okay, looks like I have to employ more force. Oh my goodness. Okay, bear with me, guys. Wow. Okay, this has to be the heaviest armrest I've ever seen. Am I supposed to... Yeah, this is a little bit questionable, guys, because first of all, there was no solution to pull the armrest down. And then secondly, it's like as if it's supposed to be holding something, like a storage space or... But there's nothing going on, it's just cup holders. This has to be the heaviest cup holder ever. I mean, is it holding a book inside? Now over to the boot space of this Nissan Ariya. So every time you open the boot space, it'll make this sound and then it opens. Although one thing that's remarkable is that the edge of this boot sticks out very proudly. So a few times I had this feeling it was going to sort of make contact with my nose, but it actually never made contact with me because I walked back. But I like the presentation. Fabulous boot space, everyone. Very nice. I believe it's average for its segment. So here's my conclusion of the Nissan Ariya, everyone. I have to say that this Nissan Ariya is a very promising debut for Nissan because this is the car that's meant to mark a new chapter for Nissan. And the reason I say this is because, first of all, when it comes to design and everything, many new Nissan models like the Qashqai, the Juke, and the Micra that's going to come out in the future, they are going to be inspired by the design of the Nissan Ariya. So it has set a new identity for the Nissan brand. And also it is remarkable because it draws no inspiration from the Nissan Patrol or the legendary Nissan GTR, which is surprising because many car manufacturers tend to draw inspiration from flagship models or former flagship models. But Nissan has done something different. They've come up with something of their own. Now, one thing that we can establish is that this is something that's kind of drawn inspiration from the Renault Espace. It's like a Nissan Qashqai plus a Renault Espace, because the interior reminds me of something Renault did with the Espace. Now, was Renault involved in this? I would not be surprised because Renault and Nissan do have an alliance. Now for the Nissan Ariya, the design is stunning. The equipment list is one of the best I've ever seen. In fact, I would say this has to be great. This has to be one of the best things I've ever seen, guys. Almost fully loaded. I love the equipment list. It's very desirable. But just the only questionable aspect has to be the practicality solutions. The practicality solutions were a bit questionable, especially for its size and segment, and this is not surprising because I've seen this with other electric cars. But the fact that it has some influence from the Renault Espace leads me to also question the identity ever so slightly, because when I see a Nissan, I think of Japan, and I want to be reminded of Japan. But the fact that it's got something which the Renault Espace once possessed makes me wonder, which direction is this going to go? My opinion of this Nissan Ariya? Oh, I love it! I love this Nissan Ariya, guys. This Nissan Ariya has to be one of the best Nissans I've ever seen, guys. Overall, what I can establish is that this is a third flagship model by Nissan. So the first one being the Nissan Patrol, then you have the Nissan GTR, and now you have the Nissan Ariya. And this particular bad boy seems to have drawn a lot of inspiration from the Nissan Qashqai and the Renault Espace. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos that are on the run, everyone. Don't forget to check the links in the description for my car reviews, travel videos, and my creativity videos, guys.